Hello students, this is Uttkarsh, Bhargava. In this lecture, I'm going to continue with the chapter poverty of unit number 3rd of class 11th economics, Indian economic development. In the last video, we are done with the basic concepts of poverty, and in this video, I'm going to continue with the chapter poverty with the next topic. The last topic which we are done with was the causes of poverty. The cause of poverty was all about that the basic factors which are responsible for the poverty in an economy. That if the people are poor, then what is the reason behind that poverty? We have studied that. Let's quickly revise. So the first point was high growth rate of population. That maybe in your economy, the level of the growth rate of population is really very high. In that case, the per head availability of different goods and services would decrease, which would lead to poverty in the economy. Point number 2, underdeveloped economy. If the performance of your economy is not good enough, if in your economy the development level is not that much जितना उसको होना चाहिए था, then in that case your economy would not be able to create much jobs, and that would lead to unemployment and would lead to poverty. Then third, widespread unemployment. Maybe something happened in your economy which is causing a lot of unemployment. Means not so many people are getting employment. Now in that case, a lot of people are not earning their living. They will suffer from starvation. Again, a very popular symbol of poverty. So that's obvious that if there is unemployment in your economy, that will surely cause unemployment. Next is inequalities of income and wealth. That if your government is not looking towards this, that the level of income, the very high level of income is concentrated in the hands of very few people. In that case, all the resources would be accumulated by only that group, and the least advantaged section of the society will remain poor. So if such inequalities are there in an economy, then that will promote the poverty. So inequalities of income and wealth. Then the next was the political factors. So the political factors is basically like that political instability is there. Political parties, just because of their own interest, they do not want to root out the corruption, to make the system more efficient, to make the strict laws to penalize the defaulters. So if the ruling party is not solid enough, is not tough enough to take such kind of decisions, in that case the poverty would be very much high in the economy. because the political party is not strong enough. And we can experience this thing especially in the South Asian countries, where some sort of political instability is always there. Like in our country, in India, there is multi-party system. There are a lot of parties. Now, because of that multi-party system, everybody who is involved in politics would lead to this thing only, that there will not be any strict action taken by the political party to make the system more efficient and transparent, which leads to basically what? That the least advantaged section of the society are not getting the benefits which they actually deserve. So that is the political factor which cause poverty, if the political system of the economy is not strong enough, or as you can say is not good enough. The sixth point was the rise in general price level. That is basically known as the inflation. If the inflation is taking place in your economy, means what? If the price level of goods and services are continuously going up, then that inflation will make the poor poorer. So that will make the poor poorer, just because of inflation the worth of their money would fall. The worth of money they have would fall because of inflation. So that is why it is making poor more poorer. So that is rise in general price level. And the last was the lower level of education. That if the education system in your society, in your locality, in your state or in your country is not good enough, in that case, firstly, there would be very high level of illiteracy in your economy. Second, that would lead to what? Very low standard of living, low level of employment, or you can say a very high level of low paid jobs, employment exist in the economy, because very less people are illiterate. And if there is unemployment, then if there is illiteracy, then again you know this thing, that illiteracy leads to unemployment, and unemployment leads to poverty. So there is a direct connection between the education, literacy and the poverty. So if the level of literacy goes down, the poverty goes up. Fine. So this was the causes. Now let us come to the next point. Now this topic is quite big. The topic is about the measures to remove poverty. What we can do to abolish, to eradicate the poverty from our economy. Now it is the responsibility of the society, of the private sector, of the public sector, means the government, to jointly construct a kind of nexus which help to eradicate poverty. Only together we can. If any individual body, from the society to private to public, if any individual body is willing to eradicate poverty, that is not going to happen. Everybody has to hold their hand together in order to eradicate poverty. So in this topic we are going to talk about kind of same thing, that what society, what private sector and what the public sector can do in order to eradicate the poverty. Like there is point number 1, agricultural development. Now if some of our viewers are wondering that how this agricultural development leads to removal of poverty, then you must know this thing, that majority of poverty is basically found in the rural areas. And in those rural areas, most of the people, most of the families are earning their living from the agriculture sector. Now, if the agriculture sector develops, then that will surely help those poor families to develop. Now, the question is this, that how we can develop the agriculture sector. ये तो मैंने आपको समझा दिया कि कैसे एग्रीकल्चर सेक्टर की डेवलपमेंट से आपकी इकोनॉमी में पॉवर्टी कम हो सकती है। बट सबसे बड़ा क्वेश्चन जो हमारे सामने खड़ा हो जाता है वो ये कि एग्रीकल्चर डेवलपमेंट की हम बात कर तो रहे हैं, बट एग्रीकल्चर डेवलपमेंट होगा कैसे? सो लेट अस टेक अ लुक। फर्स्ट पॉइंट, एग्रीकल्चर डेवलपमेंट। सिंस इंडिपेंडेंस, measures have been taken to develop agriculture as majority of population depends on agriculture. So since independence we are trying this. Agriculture should modernize and mechanized. So it should be modernized and mechanized means what? That we should use modern means of production. We should use the mechanized means of production. Means our farmers should know and should be aware about the modern methods, and this is the government, this is the duty of government and the NGOs to let the farmers know, to keep the farmers aware about the latest things, about the policies and programs which are launched by the government just to favor those farmers. This will enhance production and productivity both. So this will enhance, this will increase the level of output which we will get from a single piece of land if we are utilizing modern and mechanized means of production. If our students are facing problem in understanding the meaning of this mechanized means, मतलब कि प्रोडक्शन के लिए नई नई मशीनरीज का इस्तेमाल करना, उसे बोलते हैं मैकेनाइज्ड, यूजिंग मैकेनाइज्ड मीन्स ऑफ प्रोडक्शन। फाइन। तो अगर फार्मर्स नई नई मशीनरीज का इस्तेमाल करेंगे, जैसे कि ट्रैक्टर्स, थ्रेशर्स, हार्वेस्टर्स, वाटर पंप्स एक्सेट्रा, तो उससे सीधा इंपैक्ट उनकी प्रोडक्शन पे पड़ेगा और उनकी प्रोडक्शन का लेवल भी एनहेंस होगा। Then next point, government should take necessary steps to help farmers financially and also in making them aware of organized market structure and various other facilities. So this point is a mixture of 2-3 things. Like initially the statement is saying that the government should help farmers financially. Means what? For a poor farmer, the only important thing which he is lacking is the capital. If he have the sufficient capital, then he can also expand his level of business. But who is there to provide funds? And as we all know that so many farmers, they caught in the trap of the local money lenders who usually charge a really very high rate of interest. So government should provide a very simple and a basic portal to raise funds, to raise capital in order to increase their productivity, in order to increase the use of the machineries in their farms. One more thing was written also in making them aware of organized market structure. Government do such kind of thing with the help of gram panchayats, gram sabhas, to aware all the farmers about the current market structure. Means that these are the prices, these are the places where you can store your stuff, these are the government warehouses, government cold storages, and these are the government authorities which are always there to help you. So such kind of information is basically passed by the government to the farmers through gram sabhas and gram panchayat in order to maximize their benefits. And some various other facilities, like government has also launched the schemes like Kisan Call Center, where farmers are free to call at any point of time in order to get the information related to anything, especially the agriculture sector. Government has also launched the scheme for the Kisan credit card, through which the government targets that the farmers should not caught in the trap of the local money lenders. All these efforts will help in generating more income and thereby helping in removal of poverty. Simple. Then here comes our point number 2. Control over inflation. As I just said you guys a couple of minutes back, that inflation is the only thing which can expand and which can contract the purchasing power of your money. If the inflation goes down, it would eventually increase the purchasing power of your money. And if it goes up, if the inflation is at its rise, then that would decrease the purchasing power. Now, in order to keep your farmers on the safer side, we must control the inflation. In order to safeguard the interest of the poor people, we must control the inflation. So the topic is basically like that general price level should be under checks so that it does favor the poor and fixed income groups. So if the people who have the fixed income, those people who have the casual employment, those people who are often unemployed, especially for such kind of people, a check on inflation will be a moment of relief. Second, government should resort to various fiscal and monetary measures to control the supply of money in the economy. Now, what are these fiscal and monetary measures? I guess I have told you about this thing. Guys, fiscal means which belongs to government, especially the central government. Monetary, which belongs to the central bank. So fiscal, government, monetary, central bank. So government should resort to various fiscal and monetary measures. They can use both of them to control the money supply, to control so many other things in order to control the inflation. Then it helps to stabilize the purchasing power of money and thereby helping the poor person to buy the basic necessities of life. So, if the inflation is under control, so that would help people to stabilize their purchasing power. As I am using the word that inflation directly hits the purchasing power of the money which we have. So, this would help if we curb the problem of inflation. So, this would help to enhance the purchasing power of the rural population. Next, increase in generation of employment opportunities. Means by generating more and more employment opportunities, we can eradicate this problem, can solve this problem. But the question is this, the very big question, everybody knows this thing, that through employment we can solve this problem. But the very big question is this, that how we can create employment. The process to create employment is not very much clear. What people think, providing jobs under the government companies is the only source of employment. So this is absolutely wrong. That if somebody is targeting the government like that, look, you are not providing the jobs through your PSUs, through your companies, it means that you are not fulfilling your commitments. So guys, if the government is going to provide all the employments under the government companies, then all the government companies would become insolvent. Ultimately, they are also doing business. They have to think rationally. They cannot hire a lot of people. They cannot hire those people whose requirement is not there in the company. It doesn't make any sense. So government companies will launch their opportunities, only that much opportunities which are required. Now, what are the other ways then? Periodically, every firm launches, every firm opens up some opportunities, but they are not enough with the increasing population. So what government can do? I hope you have heard about the term SSIs. What are SSIs? Small scale industries. These days our government is shifting their focus on the SSIs. The government want people to start their own business and get self-employed. If you have lack of funds, government is there. Like there is a simple scheme of Government of India which is known as Mudra Bank. Mudra Bank is basically what? For the very small funds like 1 lakh, 2 lakhs, 3 lakh. If you want to open up your own business, then through that Mudra Bank you can take loan without offering any collateral. कुछ गिरवी रखने की जरूरत नहीं है. You can take your loan and you can start your own business. And government's objective or view behind this, that if you are opening up your own business, then surely after some time you will employ 1, 2, 3, 4 people or maybe more. Means now government do not want to build job seekers. Government wants to build job providers. This is the objective. So, main cause of poverty in India is lack of job opportunities as a result of low level of economic growth. Very simple thing. We should try to generate more employment opportunities by encouraging small and cottage industry, as I just said you, that we should try to generate more employment opportunities by encouraging small, means SSIs, small scale industries and cottage industries. If you are wondering what is this cottage industry, the industries which are opened in the backyards of your houses. Changing scales of operation by encouraging self-employment ventures, making capital base of the country strong, etc. Means if you are encouraging the unemployed population to open up your own business, first. Second, by encouraging the existing industries to enlarge their scales. Now these two things can benefit the growing population, the problem of the unemployment of growing population in India, just by boosting the industrialization in India. Then next, India should adopt labor-intensive technique of production. What is this labor-intensive technique of production? It is that technique in which a producer utilizes more of labor and less of capital. If a producer is utilizing more of labor and less of capital, in that case, by spending less, companies would hire more people, which in turn leads to lack of unemployment and leads to reduction in poverty. This will lead to effective utilization of manpower, means of course people are getting employed, leading to more production and greater income level. So that would surely increase the production and the level of income in your economy, hence helping in removal of poverty. So this would surely enhance the level of the employment and would decrease the level of poverty. The next fourth point is minimum needs program for the poor. Remember guys, in the last video I told you this, that nowadays in the modern times the basic necessities of each and every individual are food, clothing, shelter, education and health. So these are the 5 necessities of an individual presently, and the government is focusing, and they should focus on these 5 basic needs in order to remove the poverty. Like, let's talk about them one by one. If I talk about food, what government is doing to provide food at a very basic rate? What government is doing? Government provide such eatables, the basic food items, through ration shops at a very low price. So the government is trying their best in order to provide the food items at the subsidized rate through the ration shops. Let's talk about clothing. Clothing is not a big issue at all in the Indian system. If somebody is poor and clothing is a basic necessity, then our Indian system is like that we usually donate, we usually passes our old clothes, our worn out clothes, and which are used by these people. So clothing is not a big issue at all. Let's talk about the third one, shelter. What government is doing to provide shelter? First of all, if I am talking about the very underprivileged class, extremely poor class, means who are facing that much bad time that they are passing their whole nights on the footpaths, they are sleeping on the footpaths. Now especially for those people, the government has constructed, if I talk about Delhi, I don't know much about in the rest of the India, whether there are such kind of schemes or not. Means something should be there, was which is a like of substitute of this. Like in Delhi, there is the concept of Rain Baseras, where you can spend your whole night at a very cheap rate, that is just 10 rupee per night or maybe less than that. Means 10 rupee per night you can have the blanket, a pillow, and yes, of course, you will get a secure space to spend the whole night. Then if I talk about after the food, clothing and shelter, health and education. For health, there are government dispensaries, there are some clinics which are opened by the local governments and the state governments in order to help the local people. And lastly, if I talk about the education, then there are government dispensaries, they are the schools of municipal corporations which are providing education to the rural, the children of the rural people. So let's talk about the minimum need programs. This program should be effectively implanted by ensuring that articles of basic necessities are provided at the reasonable price to the poor. So such policy should focus on this thing, that whether the basic needs are provided at the cheap rate or not. Now next, government should take appropriate measures to meet these minimum needs of the poor. So the government should take the appropriate measures such as drinking water, provision of primary health centers, etc. So such thing should be there which can provide them the basic needs. Such policy should be there which can provide them their basic needs, and the government is liable for that. Government should make provision to grant more funds for this program so that minimum basic amenities to the people can be provided. So the government should focus on this thing, that there must be a strong policy which can help the rural people, the poor people, to purchase or to afford their basic needs. So this is the responsibility of the government. Then regional balanced growth. What is this point? What is the meaning of this regional balanced growth? That the government should focus on the balanced growth of each and every state. Now this would again benefit the people and the government. If there is not very much high level of disparities, inequality in the public, in between the public or in between the states, then there would be the equal scope for the underdeveloped areas to get converted into the developed one. So, regional balanced growth, steps should be taken to remove regional disparities so that backward areas can be developed and job opportunities can be created to absorb unemployed workers. So the government should focus on this thing also, that whether all these states are growing in the equal manner or equal proportion or not. Now, special concessions or subsidies should be given to such areas which need such concession to develop themselves regionally. So the government of India should provide the subsidies, the grants to these states which are actually need that, which has the growth prospects but again lacking with funds. So the government should help them in order to uplift the status of that particular state or a region. So regional balance can surely enhance the level of overall growth of the economy. Then sixth, development of industries. As I just said you guys, if an economy is targeting to expand the level of employment, the level of standard of living, the level of literacy, good health, and so many other things, then government of India especially should focus on only one thing, that is the industrialization. What I personally think is that only the secondary sector, means the industrial sector, has the potential to absorb the increasing population. Why not in the primary and the tertiary sector? In primary sector we require land, which is not at all abundant, which is limited to us. In tertiary sector we need literacy, which is again we are lacking with. But industrial sector needs what? Needs skills. So government should start investing and start thinking on the industrialization, like China did. China just focused on only one thing, that is the development of industries, and now the result can be seen by the whole world. To eradicate poverty, industrialization should take place at a larger level. Industrialization should be developed at all levels. For example, small scale industries, cottage industries, industries in the rural areas, etc. So the government should give special attention towards the industrialization in the country. Now, that industrialization would surely benefit not only to the people of that particular area where the industry is situated, but to the whole state and to the whole economy. So development of industries should be a very high priority topic for the government. Rapid growth of industrialization will create job opportunities and help to solve the problem of poverty by increasing income levels. So as I just said you, that the only sector which can absorb the mass unemployed people is the secondary, means the industrial sector. So the government should focus on this thing in order to create more job opportunities. And that job opportunities would clear all the problems related to the unemployment, like low standard of living, low health status, poverty, etc. Then last, provision of social security. Now what is this social security? Social security means that you should live a secured life in between your people in your own society with a secured job, a secured after retirement life, and of course a secured healthy life. Provision of social security schemes, example old age pension, provident fund, compensation to an injured worker, etc., should be provided to industrial workers so that they accommodate some of their demand through the government. Means such kind of facilities should be provided to make your employees, your citizens socially secure. Like there are so many policies launched by the government, especially for the people who are from the non-institutional areas, who are working as a casual worker, where no social security or no extra benefits are given by the employer. Now, for those employees who are not getting such benefits from the employers, they can ask for such benefits from the government. Like our government of India has a scheme which is known as the Atal Pension Yojana, in which everybody can enroll and can start with that plan, and that is just to make those casual workers socially secure. And some other kinds of social security plans are there, which are basically given by the employer to the employees in order to make them socially secure. More efforts should be made in this regard, especially to industrial workers, to help them recover from poverty to some extent. So, कुछ हद तक वो अपनी गरीबी से छुटकारा पा सकें, उस चीज के लिए इंडस्ट्रियल वर्कर्स के लिए गवर्नमेंट ने बहुत कुछ किया है. लाइक आवर गवर्नमेंट हैज गिवन that much liberty to our workers that they can form their own labor union and they can fight for their rights from the management of the industries. They have full right. There are different unions who works for the welfare of their whole labor union, and it is completely legal. So always such kind of things are there from the government side, so that each and every labor, each and every unemployed, each and every poor can live a socially secure life, so that nobody can exploit them. Okay, now our next topic is again approach to eradicate poverty. Now, what are the different approaches? Like the first one, the first approach is the growth oriented approach. Means what? Just start thinking of only one thing: growth. If we will grow, then poverty will surely be just a bad dream for us. So just focus on only one thing, that is growth, and everything will automatically get corrected. Second, specific poverty alleviation programs. Specific programs which targets on the alleviation of the poverty. ऐसे programs जो गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया लॉन्च करती है, जो सीधा टारगेट करती है किसके ऊपर? गरीबी को मिटाने के ऊपर, कम करने के ऊपर, खत्म करने के ऊपर. And last, meeting the minimum needs of the poor. कि गरीबों के जो बेसिक नीड्स हैं उनको भी आप लगातार पूरे करते रहो. उससे क्या होगा कि अगर आप गरीब लोगों की बेसिक नीड्स को पूरा करते रहेंगे तो उस पर्टिकुलर केस में उनके पास आगे सोचने के लिए भी बहुत कुछ रहेगा, रिसोर्स बचे रहेंगे, क्योंकि सरकार तो बेसिक नीड्स पूरी करके दे रही है. नाउ दे विल थिंक फॉरवर्ड टू रेज देयर लेवल ऑफ इनकम, टू गेट अ सिक्योर्ड जॉब, टू लिव अ हेल्दी लाइफ, इफ गवर्नमेंट इज हेल्पिंग देम to fulfill their minimum needs. Fine. So let us start with the first one, growth oriented approach. So what is this growth oriented approach? तो जैसा कि मैंने अभी बोला कि सिर्फ आप एक चीज के ऊपर फोकस कीजिए, ग्रोथ, कि मेरी कंट्री में ग्रोथ कैसे हो। अगर आपकी कंट्री में सब ग्रोथ के बारे में सोचेंगे तो ऑटोमेटिकली आउटपुट का लेवल बढ़ेगा, आउटपुट बढ़ेगी तो एम्प्लॉयमेंट बढ़ेगी, एम्प्लॉयमेंट बढ़ेगी तो लोगों की इनकम का लेवल बढ़ेगा, इनकम का लेवल बढ़ेगा तो पॉवर्टी कम होगी, तो अल्टीमेटली हमें गरीबी कम करनी है। सो द पॉइंट इज बेसिकली लाइक इट इज बेस्ड ऑन द एक्सपेक्टेशन दैट द इफेक्ट्स ऑफ इकोनॉमिक ग्रोथ, rapid increase in GDP per capita income would spread all the sections of society and will trickle down to the poor sections also। कि अगर आपकी कंट्री के अंदर इकोनॉमिक ग्रोथ होगी तो उसकी वजह से रैपिडली जीडीपी भी बढ़ेगा, जब जीडीपी बढ़ेगा तो वही कि पर कैपिटा इनकम बढ़ेगी, और जिसकी वजह से वो चीज सोसाइटी के हर इंडिविजुअल को बेनिफिट करेगी और वो कहीं ना कहीं पुअर सेक्शन की जो प्रॉब्लम्स है उनको दूर करेगी। दिस वॉज मेजर फोकस ऑफ प्लानिंग इन 1950s एंड द अर्ली 1960s। बट अगेन हमने ये वाली चीज पढ़ी है कि 1950s, 60s एंड 70s एंटिल लेट 1980s तक हमें उसका रिजल्ट दिखना चालू हो गया था कि इस बीच में गवर्नमेंट की जो पॉलिसीज थी वो उतनी ज्यादा इफेक्टिव नहीं थी। हम क्लोज्ड इकोनॉमी का माइंडसेट रखते थे, हम ट्रेड रिस्ट्रिक्शंस का माइंडसेट रखते थे, हम गवर्नमेंट सेक्टर के ऊपर ज्यादा डिपेंडेंट रहे ऐसा माइंडसेट रखते थे, जो कि बहुत गलत साबित हुआ। और फिर फाइनली हमने रिफॉर्म्स के थ्रू ये सारी चीजों को हटाया, चेंज किया, बदलाव किए, ताकि हमें गरीबी कम होती नजर आए। और हमें कहना भी चाहिए कि पिछले लगभग 20-25 सालों में इंडिया की शक्ल बहुत ज्यादा बदली है। रिफॉर्म्स के इफेक्ट्स जब दिखने स्टार्ट हुए, कंपनीज ने जब एंटर करना स्टार्ट किया, 21st सेंचुरी की बिगनिंग ही इसके साथ हुई। बड़ी बड़ी कंपनीज ने एंटर किया, अच्छी मार्केटिंग स्किल्स के साथ, बहुत कैपिटल के साथ, नई टेक्नोलॉजी के साथ, जिन्होंने लोगों का स्टैंड ऑफ लिविंग तो बढ़ाया ही बढ़ाया, साथ में हमारी कंट्री में लोगों की इनकम भी बहुत बढ़ाई। अगर हम ऐसी अप्रोच रखते हैं तो हमें बिल्कुल लॉन्ग रन में इस तरक्की के साथ गरीबी खत्म होती दिखाई देगी। इट वॉज फेल्ट दैट रैपिड इंडस्ट्रियल डेवलपमेंट एंड ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन ऑफ एग्रीकल्चर, मीन्स अगर रैपिडली इंडस्ट्रियल डेवलपमेंट होगी और एग्रीकल्चर सेक्टर में ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन होगी थ्रू द पॉलिसीज लाइक ग्रीन रेवोल्यूशन इन सेलेक्टेड रीजन्स, वुड बेनिफिट द अंडर डेवलप्ड रीजन्स, वो अंडर डेवलप्ड रीजन्स को बेनिफिट करेगा, एंड द मोर बैकवर्ड सेक्शंस ऑफ द सोसाइटी, बैकवर्ड सेक्शन को भी बहुत ज्यादा बेनिफिट करेगा। फाइन। सो आई होप यू रिमेंबर द पॉलिसी ऑफ ग्रीन रेवोल्यूशन, कि अगर हमारी कंट्री ऐसी किसी अप्रोच पे चलती है जिससे इंडस्ट्रीज की भी डेवलपमेंट हो, एग्रीकल्चर सेक्टर में ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन हो, तो आपको बहुत जल्दी बदलाव दिखने चालू हो जाएंगे। कि जो एरियाज पहले बहुत ही अंडर प्रिविलेज थे, उतने ज्यादा डेवलप्ड नहीं थे, उतने ज्यादा अर्बनाइज्ड नहीं थे, वहां पे भी धीरे धीरे सर्विसेज पहुंचने लग गई, वहां पे भी धीरे धीरे लोगों की इनकम का लेवल बढ़ना शुरू हो गया, वहां पर भी लोग एजुकेटेड होने लग गए, हेल्दी होने लग गए, थोड़ा स्टैंड ऑफ लिविंग बढ़ गया। तो वो तभी होगा कि जब आपने वहां पर सिर्फ और सिर्फ ग्रोथ की बातें करी और ग्रोथ होती दिखी। बट ओवरऑल ग्रोथ एंड ग्रोथ ऑफ एग्रीकल्चर एंड इंडस्ट्री हैव नॉट बीन इंप्रेसिव, कि जो ओवरऑल ग्रोथ है हमारी और एग्रीकल्चर की, इंडस्ट्रियल सेक्टर की, वो उतनी इंप्रेसिव नहीं रही। ये इंप्रेसिव ना होने के पीछे का भी सबसे बड़ा रीजन क्या है गाइस? दैट इज द हाई ग्रोथ रेट ऑफ पॉपुलेशन। हमारी कंट्री जितने से इंडस्ट्रीज का एक्सपेंशन करती है उससे कहीं ज्यादा स्पीड से पॉपुलेशन बढ़ जाती है। तो क्या है कि वो जो ग्रोथ है इंडस्ट्रीज की वो ठीक से भी कंपनसेट नहीं हो पाती। मींस एक्सेस में ही पॉपुलेशन बढ़ जाती है और उस इंडस्ट्री की ग्रोथ या एग्रीकल्चर में जितनी भी आपकी वो हुई है उनका कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता ज्यादा। द गैप बिटवीन पुअर एंड रिच हैज एक्चुअली वाइडेंड। दैट इज बिकॉज ऑफ द पुअर डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन ऑफ फैक्टर्स ऑफ प्रोडक्शन इन बिटवीन द फैक्टर्स ऑफ प्रोडक्शन। ठीक से आप लोगों के बीच में डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन नहीं करते हैं, जिसको जितना बनता है अगर आप उसको उतना नहीं देंगे तो वो कहीं ना कहीं आपकी इकोनॉमी में ये वाली प्रॉब्लम को बहुत ज्यादा बड़ा कर देगा। द ग्रीन रेवोल्यूशन वाइडेंड द डिस्पैरिटीज रीजनली। ऐसा क्यों? आई होप यू रिमेंबर दिस गाइस, दैट the green revolution favored only 5 crops. There was jowar, rice, bajra, maize and wheat. So green revolution favored only few crops, and this invention was enjoyed by ओनली दोज फार्मर्स या ओनली दोज स्टेट्स जहां पर ये क्रॉप्स उगती थी। बाकी जहां पर ये क्रॉप्स नहीं उगती थी वहां के फार्मर्स बेचारे कुछ नहीं कर पाए और ना ही उनको इसका कोई बेनिफिट हुआ। द ग्रीन रेवोल्यूशन वाइडेंड द डिस्पैरिटीज रीजनली। तो बहुत ज्यादा डिस्पैरिटीज बढ़ गई। जिन स्टेट्स में सारी क्रॉप्स उगती थी वहां के फार्मर्स तो बहुत रिच हो गए और जहां पर इनके बारे में कोई बात ही नहीं होती थी वहां पर कोई फार्मर को इतना फायदा नहीं हुआ। एंड बिटवीन द लार्ज एंड द स्मॉल फार्मर्स, ये भी एक बात थी कि ग्रीन रेवोल्यूशन के बेनिफिट यूजुअली बड़े फार्मर्स ही उठा पाए, छोटे फार्मर्स उसका इतना फायदा नहीं उठा पाए क्योंकि इट रिक्वायर्स अ लॉट ऑफ मनी। फाइन, क्योंकि मशीनरीज का इस्तेमाल करना पड़ता है और केमिकल फर्टिलाइजर्स, पेस्टिसाइड्स, HYV सीड्स, इन सब का इस्तेमाल करने में पैसा खर्च होता है जो कि बड़े फार्मर्स ही कर पाए। तो आप बोल सकते हैं कि बड़े फार्मर्स को बहुत फायदा हुआ, बड़े फार्मर्स की इनकम कई गुना बढ़ी, और स्मॉल फार्मर्स को और उन स्टेट्स को जहां पर ग्रीन रेवोल्यूशन सपोर्ट नहीं हुआ था वहां पर फार्मर्स को कोई ज्यादा बड़ा बेनिफिट नहीं हुआ। There was unwillingness and the inability to redistribute land. और वही कि जो बड़े लैंडलॉर्ड्स थे वो अपने लैंड्स आगे सेल नहीं करते थे, आगे रीडिस्ट्रीब्यूट नहीं करते थे, और उल्टा जो लोगों के पास थे उन्हें अपना और कर लेते थे, मतलब जबरदस्ती एक्सटोर्ट कर लेना। तो ग्रीन रेवोल्यूशन के अपने भी फेलियर थे, बट ओवरऑल हमने बात करी, हमने दोनों ही तरीके से लिखा कि ग्रोथ ओरिएंटेड अप्रोच किस तरीके से काम कर सकती है। अगर सरकार सिर्फ एक ड्रीम देख के चले कि हमें ग्रोथ करनी है, हर कोई अपना इंटरेस्ट के लिए काम करे, तो आपको अपनी इकोनॉमी में ओवरऑल ग्रोथ के साथ अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट कम होती दिखाई देगी, लोगों का स्टैंडर्ड ऑफ लिविंग बढ़ता हुआ दिखाई देगा, लोगों की जो माइंडसेट है, सोशल आउटलुक है, उसमें चेंज होता हुआ दिखाई देगा, एंड अल्टीमेटली पॉवर्टी भी आपकी रिड्यूस होती चली जाएगी, आपको ऐसा दिखाई देगा। हमारे इस टॉपिक में अभी भी दो चीजें रह गई गाइस, स्पेसिफिक एलिवेशन जो है हमारे प्रोग्राम्स जिसकी वजह से हम पॉवर्टी को खत्म करने की बात कर रहे हैं, एंड मीटिंग द मिनिमम नीड्स ऑफ द पुअर। तो ये दो टॉपिक्स भी अभी हमारे रह गए हैं। हम इन दोनों चीजों को नेक्स्ट हमारी वीडियो लेक्चर में कैप्चर करेंगे और इसी के साथ हम आगे प्रैक्टिस करेंगे इसके क्वेश्चंस एंड आंसर्स को। सो इट विल टेक वन मोर वीडियो टू फिनिश this chapter, guys, and this is the rest of the chapter which we'll finish in the next video. As you can see that there are lots of little things in this chapter, so this chapter requires a lot of revision and some learning stuff also. So that is my urge to all the students to keep revising, study hard, take care of yourself. We'll catch you soon in the next video. So till then, take care of yourself, and thank you so much, guys. Bye bye.